What's going on, everyone? Elijah with Aiden Pressure Washing. Just ran out to the shop quick. We've got another little snowstorm coming, so grabbing some supplies for that. And we also got our 350 back from the fab shop yesterday. I wanted to kind of show you what we had done and kind of what we're planning for future modifications on that as well. So let me flip you around and show you what we got. Okay, so we did a redesign of this ladder rack here. Right now it's very similar to the old one we had. We did change the material out from the aluminum and we went with stainless steel. So if you had watched previous videos, what we had going on was the aluminum was welded directly to this skid plate, and so those welds, being aluminum, were pretty weak, and so they would keep cracking all the way around. So every post where it was welded, it would start cracking. So we needed to fix that. We didn't want the whole ladder rack flying off as we were driving. So that was issue number one. We wanted to go with a little bit stronger of a material. The aluminum was holding the ladders fine, but it wasn't quite doing the trick. And we still wanted to maintain the corrosion resistance, obviously with washing and being out in the elements and weather. You get a lot of corrosion, so that's why we went with the stainless steel. And what we had our fab shop do is we made this whole ladder rack removable as well. We go into garages to do parking garage washing, and so the ladder rack would be, add an extra 4 or 5 inches on top of the truck height, and atop of the actual largest part would be where the burner is for the pressure washer. And so that was causing some issues with clearance. So we could really use that extra 4 inches. So we had them build this so that it was removable and we can take it off. And that way, if we're going into a parking garage or if we're taking a long trip somewhere where we aren't going to need ladders, we can save on a little bit of the wind resistance and, maybe increase fuel mileage just a little bit. But the other thing we did with this is we changed it to holding the ladders on the side of the truck. So you can see they added in here, which before we would have to put it all the way up on top, and that was a pain. You'd have to climb up on the bed to get to the ladder because it was so tall, and it just wasn't very user friendly. So this you can actually get on and off with one operator, pretty easy from the side. And then the other nice thing is we won't have to use our tie downs on it. We were just using like these bad boys, and they work great, but they also do kind of break over time. And sometimes we had a couple instances where we had forgotten to tie it down. We'd throw it up there, get busy, get distracted. So this prevents all that. You can just hang it on, not have to worry about it. Don't have to worry about it flying off because you forgot to tie the tie, or the ties broke, anything like that. So that's nice. One thing we may do as a kind of a redesign to this is, instead of having it be just this giant box that we have right now, what I'm thinking of doing is putting a kind of like a crossbar in here and then a crossbar in here, so we can eliminate this whole middle section. And we could still, if we added a couple pegs on top, we could still run a ladder on top even if we wanted to. That way, getting it on and off will be much easier. You're just worrying about taking one side of it off as opposed to trying to get the whole big cube off, which can be a bit of a process. It's just awkward. It's not real heavy. I mean, it's under 200 pounds total, but to try to get that off with a few guys is just awkward. You got to get it, up and over everything. Whereas if we had it designed and we run it like I think we're going to run it, we'll be able to just take one side off at a time. And that way, for storage in the shop, obviously you can see we've got limited room here. So putting a big cube somewhere isn't necessarily feasible. We can lean it up against the side of the shop and just have it sitting over there. So that's kind of the idea of what we're going to go with potentially. We also want to add a spot either on the back here or on the side that we can put our mini Mondo up and on, so we're not having to load it in behind the water tank there. So those are a couple things that we'll work on this off season and have hopefully ready to go before we get rolling fast and furious come spring. But right now we've got, I think we got 14, 15 inches of snow the past week or so. So we've been sludging through that, getting that all cleared. And we got another inch or so coming here today, this afternoon. So there's not a whole lot of washing work going on. So glad that we got the snow. Gives us something to do. And then we'll continue to kind of tweak stuff, you know, both on our operations side of the business and admin side of the business as we progress through winter. So if you have any ideas for kind of the ladder rack redesign, what you've done on your rigs, what works well for you, let me know in the comments below. We'd love to hear kind of what has worked well, what maybe hasn't worked well. You know, obviously learning lessons from others who have gone before is a huge thing in business. So we'll check back in with you guys as we progress through all this, and we'll see you later.